Good evening, everybody. It's Weather Boy Jay here with your tropical update for July 31st, getting into August tomorrow. And I'm currently recording at 5:36 p.m. EST. And now we have newly formed Tropical Depression 10. Possibly could become a brief tropical storm tonight. Uh, Tropical Storm Josephine, which is the earliest J-name storm to form, completely shattering the record for the last record in 2005. The J name formed on August 22nd, I believe. And we have this 30% chance that could potentially turn into Kyle, which is not out of the question. I mean, models show this, but models didn't show this at first, but now it's because of the tropical depression right now. But yeah, it's probably gonna form to a tropical storm, and then we'll get our earliest J-name storm. And now we have Hurricane Isaias. Uh, Earlier this morning, earlier in the morning, it was an 80 miles per hour hurricane, but now it has been dropped down to a 75 miles per hour hurricane, but it's still intensifying currently with a millibar that dropped down to like 991 millibar storm. Probably, it's probably gonna keep its strength or just strengthen a tad bit tonight, but yeah. Taking a look at the satellite radar here, you can see that there was a ton of thunderstorm blow up, and now we're getting another thunderstorm blow up here. These thunderstorms and heavy rain is wrapping around the center. I'm gonna show you guys here in a minute. And wrap around the center, we have this band of showers and thunderstorms wrapping around the center here. I see with these towering cumulonimbus clouds following a path here and to right there. Yeah, so all these showers, thunderstorms are displaced to the northeastern side of the system, as you can see on the black circle. And there is a bit of dry air right here. A tiny bit, a very tiny bit of it is getting entrained inside the system, but I don't think that's really affecting it at all because there's still thunderstorms and heavy rain around the center. And as this thing treks to like a northwestern direction, it's gonna get in a little better favorable conditions and might strengthen to an 85 miles per hour storm at its peak. But Category 2 is not out of the question as well. It could still turn to that if it might kind of catch us off guard a bit, but we'll see if it actually turns into a Category 2 within the next like 12 hours. So well, anyway, the Bahamas are getting tons of rain and wind associated with the system. It's probably gonna lead to some flooding in this area, in these islands. And the coast of Florida near Miami could get tropical storm force winds or even a possibility hurricane force winds if it does get that close to shore. And they could get also as well some flooding because might appear the wind shear has died down a little bit, and these storms could finally get to this side of the system, and that probably will give them some rainfall over there. And some very gusty winds, because this is a hurricane, and it's to stay as a hurricane, basically before it nears like Georgia coast, before it weakens as a tropical storm. So now we're taking a look at the Bahamas Doppler radar composite radar, you see that now we're starting to get some rain wrapping around the center, now trying to form a fully eye wall. You can see that most of the rain is displaced in the northeast, as shown here. Just a tiny bit of rain to the southeast. No, that's not southeast, that's southwest I meant. And here's the bands feeding into the system from the southeast. There's these outflow boundaries spitting out from the storm, making these little squalls, and that could bring some gusty conditions, basically rain bands, but it's not really rain bands. So, yeah, these are heading basically towards Florida's general direction, but I think they don't make it that far before the outflow boundaries collapse on themselves and doesn't produce any more rain or thunderstorms. Now we're taking a look at the forecast cone for Isaias, if I said that correctly. You can see the tropical storm winds spread out less far than as it was yesterday. The winds have contracted closer to the center, and that is a sign of a little bit of strengthening. And yeah, like if the eye wall completely surrounds the center, then that could be bad news because it'll strengthen a little bit more. Then yeah, I'll just strengthen a little bit more. Yeah, so yeah, as I say, it does stay as a hurricane, like right, basically parallel to the shore. It's like the whole shore's basically parallel, so it makes a landfall somewhere in South Carolina and North Carolina. So yeah, landfall in Florida is kind of getting likely at this point now, and as well as a landfall in South Carolina is now getting likely, as before it used to say it North Carolina landfall, but now it's like a Myrtle Beach landfall around there, or Wilmington. And this could also impact the Northeast and into New England as staying as a tropical storm, a pretty strong wind up to 65 miles per hour sustained winds up to New England. Usually we can get our next landfall possibly in the Northeast again before, like after Faye happened, which came right here and it went up like that. So we could get a landfall up in the Northeast, which landfalls up here, I say uncommon. They don't usually happen all the time every year, but they can happen. They can happen. So yeah, take a look at the model guidance here. It's pretty spread out right now, right here. Pretty spread out. Actually, it should be well in agreement, but most of the clustered models are over here. But like you don't it doesn't mean it'll be like that. There's these other models like a little cluster right here, but yeah. So somewhere in this general direction is where it's gonna go, and could make a South Carolina landfall, a North Carolina landfall, Maryland landfall. As you can see, some models saying that, and Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and that right? Sounds like I said a bad word, but yeah. So yeah, landfall could possibly make 3 landfalls or even 4 landfalls. Seen up here, so 4 landfalls or 5 actually. So that's quite a lot of landfalls for this system. And intensity guidance here, all in currently category 1 because that's what its current strength is. I say some of them, most of them do make a slight growth in winds, and then it gradually decreases all the way right here. Some models do bring it up to, I think, 76 knots, not 76 knots, basically like 95 miles per hour winds, close to category 2. So that's what I'm saying. Category 2 is not out of the question. It could happen. So keep in mind, we could still get a category 2. And taking a look at the wind shear here, here's our system. The wind shear is decreasing a little bit as this unfavorable wind shear mass is moving away from the system, while this one is shrinking a bit. You can hardly see my pen. That's the problem with the black pen. So this shear mass is moving away, and this one's shrinking. So that kind of leaves room for this neutral shear to seep in here and just nor strengthen or weaken this system. It still could weaken here and there or strengthen here and there, but it is expected to get into some more favorable shear, as you can see up here with these green colors. I think that's kind of moving out of the way as well. As we moved back 3 hours, it was in the way, now it's not. So it might be just staying in a neutral shear area and just hops of strengthening. Now we're taking a look at tropical depression 10. It's just formed as of the 5 a.m. advisory. Yeah. So there is convective bursts around the center, and that's why it's now tropical depression. And if this convective burst is persistent and deep convection stays around the center, it could very well possibly get a tropical depression Josephine. By tonight, 2 a.m. advisory is what they're predicting it to become a tropical storm and weaken to a tropical depression by tomorrow morning, probably at 8 a.m. advisory. So it'll be a very brief system. Not expecting to last more than a day, basically, because if the forecast comes in, we go out a day. It's like 18 hours of lifetime. So this thing don't have much time at all. It's currently on the east side of the Cabo Verde Islands, and it's to turn to the north side of the Cabo Verde Islands. And you might get some showers here and there, like not even a shower. You might not get any effects from this system, but just some clouds just coming by. That's probably the only thing to get. But yeah, the forecast cone is not loaded yet, so we have to use the arrival time of the winds. You see, it travels like a northwest direction, and then travels northwest, and then yeah, gonna turn. It's just gonna be going around the Cabo Verde Islands, not really making a landfall on those. And yeah, nobody's really in the cone of this at all. Yeah, nobody really is. So this is a no threat to anybody at all. If it does stay, if it does like kind of go south of that, then might some impacts on these, but it's not expected to live for long at all. And now we're taking a look at the Nino 3.4 region. It's basically in the equatorial Pacific, where this region, the 3.4 region, in fact, I have a map pulled up. I should have a map, but guess we do not. But it's somewhere in the equatorial Pacific region where this region really matters. Wrong thing. This region really matters if it's a current La Nina or El Nino, but now you can see it diving down into a La Nina phase. And it looks like there's no sign of stopping soon. Looks like it's going to keep going down and probably slow down and go back up. But it could fluctuate sometimes. We don't know if it's going to be a persistent downfall with the graphs and stay down below the neutral or El Nino. Now taking a look at the MDR in the tropical Atlantic. I see this downfall right here. Probably some easterly winds are kind of seeping in the tropical Atlantic here and there, and plus we're getting some vigorous tropical waves, probably cooling down the temperature and the MDR a tad bit. That's why you're seeing this downfall. But now since that La Nina is really kicking in, it's now on this like line and could increase here soon. So that's why it's on the downfall, because of vigorous waves. Now La Nina stepping in and warming it back up once more. And now this is the whole basin. Sea surface temperatures still really warm down here in the tropical Atlantic. Well, the Gulf of Mexico, you can see where the path of Hurricane Hannah went, like right here and then up here. So you can see those orange colors kind of right here due to Hurricane Hannah that was recently hit Texas less than a week ago. And I got Hurricane Isaias right here. Right after that comes by over here. Probably gonna see also another cold pathway right here with probably sea temperatures around 28 degrees Celsius. Because this system, it's a hurricane. It's gonna keep upwelling warm waters because upper ocean heat content is really high in this area. Very much supportive for the system. And as it travels up here, look at that. There's even more 26-degree waters. So it'll probably be strengthening as we get up here. But it's only going to strengthen if the trough right here, the wind shear, it matches with the speed of the system going this way. So if the wind shear is 30 knots, The wind shear is like 20 knots, something like that. What is that, like 25 miles per hour? Yeah, so if the wind shear is 20 knots, and the system is moving also 20 knots, and that could have like no impact to it at all. It's weakening, but it would just strengthen it all the way up here until it reaches the colder waters. So we really have to watch out for that. If it travels the same speed as the wind shear, then it will not really be a problem for it. It'll just continue strengthening. Now, taking a look up for ocean heat content. I was talking about this earlier. It still is a more than supportive ocean heat content. It's saying to upload warmer waters, not to upload cooler waters. And the ocean heat content travels all the way up here near the New Jersey shoreline, or is that Maryland or New Jersey? Well, either of those two. The shoreline, it travels all the way up here before it gets into the 0 meters area. So it's just gonna be the skin of the surface at this point up there. But it's still gonna strengthen all the way up here. So New York also needs to watch that, Rhode Island, Massachusetts. So yeah, I think that'll be it for today's video. I'm trying to make these as long and more informative as possible. And if you like the video, drop a like. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.